Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cock Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you are all good. Hopefully, everyone's having a good Friday, whatever you are around the world. And welcome back, like I said, to the match preview show. Of course, Liverpool against Arsenal, biggest game of the season so far. Of course, I think for both teams, we're not just talking just Liverpool. We're talking, of course, Arsenal and Liverpool. I'd probably even say it's more so Arsenal's biggest game of the season, considering again they could not necessarily be out of the title race, but of course if we do manage to beat them on the weekend, again, Liverpool then would be 7 points clear at the top of the Premier League table to Arsenal. So, again, I would think that for me, anyway, it would be a very tough ask then for Arsenal to come back and not necessarily be challengers in that sense, but also to overtake Liverpool in that sense. I don't think that would happen then, if that was to happen. But of course, obviously, with Liverpool being where we are, of course, you've also got to take into consideration as well that, again, Manchester City are there and thereabouts as normal anyway. But again, let me know all of you in the comments down below. Of course, we'll talk, of course, about the Liverpool-Arsenal game, as Forest have just gone 2-1 up next to Chris Woods as well. So Forest having a great start of the season as well. But no, it's been, again, I'm very not excited for the game because, again, it's Liverpool-Arsenal. Liverpool's record away to Arsenal hasn't been the best over the years. So, again, of course, a bit nervous. But in saying that as well, for me, I think Liverpool are in a much better position going in. That's just a bit of my tongue. a lot better position than Arsenal, I would say anyway. But again, that's just my own thoughts and opinions. Anyway, but again, let me know who all of you are in the comments down below. Of course, again, we'll talk, of course, as well about Arne Slot's press conference as well. Get your guys' thoughts on that. Not really newsworthy, apart from, of course, the injury news, which, of course, will obviously affect team selection. But we think that Liverpool have got pretty much a full squads. That should be a positive thing. Considered, in consideration to Arsenal anyway, who pretty much don't have a defense in many respects as well. So look, of course, we're going to be talking a bit about that anyway, and of course, get your guys' thoughts on it, of course, anyway. But again, looking at the results last year as well, look, Liverpool, losing this game and this fixture, last year, I think we lost it 3-1, didn't we? Away from home, not the best, when we take that into consideration. But also in saying that, man, we won 2-0, didn't we, in the FA Cup as well. So, look, I'm feeling positive going into this game, of course. Look, we've got, 11 wins out of 12. Liverpool should be going into the game full of confidence, but also don't want to respect Arsenal in that way as well. Like, I feel like sometimes this season, especially, we've taken so long to get into the game where we haven't been punished from it yet, but that's not saying that Arsenal aren't gonna punish Liverpool, because Liverpool, they were, and they will. Liverpool will get punished if we don't take opportunities, and then allow Arsenal to take theirs in that sense as well. So I think for me, the biggest thing is trying to settle into the game early, try and get a goal early as well. That would be a massive bonus in that sense. But I also feel like, again, Liverpool have to start the game much better than what we have done over the previous couple of games. Even in Leipzig as well, we wasn't at our best, but you would think that hopefully, again, away to Arsenal, we'll be right on it from minute one as well anyway. But more so talking as well about Arteta and Arsenal itself as well. And I've kind of got, this Boston by in terms of Arsenal, Arteta in trouble. And this is just my opinion. And of course, it's just my opinion, my foolish opinion. But if Arsenal lose this game against Liverpool, we've already said it, that, look, we think Arteta, will he be out of a title race if he lost this game? A lot of people would say yes. A lot of people would say you can't really judge it. We're in October, we're in October going into November. Look, it's very early to even be speaking about that. But like I said, again, they've got, what was it? They've had 3 yellow cards in like 7 or 8 games now this season. They've dropped points in every game. of that. Again, I know it's been spoken about on Sky Sports. I know it's been spoken about by a lot of pundits as well, about like how City and Liverpool, sorry, can win games or get points in games where they're down to 10 men, for example, and Arsenal can't. And again, I think that's more of a managerial problem more than a player problem, because again, look at the system that they had. They went to a back four. They were playing three DMs against Bournemouth and so on as well. Of course, that's not going to be the same for Liverpool, because again, look, they're going to come at us, aren't they? But it does beg into question, for me anyway, that if they was to lose this, does Arsenal's heads then drop? Because we know the supporters are going to go at it on the weekend if Liverpool do win the game on Sunday. I think Arsenal fans will start to turn maybe on Arteta. That might be just my opinion being stupid, but we seen last year, every Arsenal fan thought they were going to go on and win the league. Everyone thought of Arsenal that they were going to push on and be the guys to dethrone City. And at the end of the day, look, Arsenal, I said it, I had them winning the Premier League this season, because I felt like they were either going to have a season where they'd go on an unbelievable run, or they'd end up doing what they've kind of done this season. They've not looked great at times. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment, and that is through Arteta playing pretty much the same 11 week in, week out. Now, we've seen that. Look at when we won the Premier League ourselves. Liverpool then the previous season had, we didn't have a centre-back fit, and that is a real problem. And again, obviously, Arteta and Arsenal have had a bit of, been a bit unlucky in certain areas, but still, that's a part of football. And even Arsenal fans now saying like, oh, we're not really, we're not, we're not panicking, this, that, and the other. Again, if they lose on the weekend, they're 6 points away from City and they're 7 points away from us. So that thought process, they have to start thinking about that, surely. Anyway, but that's just my thoughts on Arteta and Arsenal. Anyway, I do think Arsenal, if they were to lose this game, I do think the fans would start turning on Arteta if they haven't done already in many sense, because I feel like a lot of Arsenal fans thought this was going to be the kickstart for them to go on to, have an unbelievable run in terms of, again, going on to win the league and so on as well. And of course, we're in October. It is a bit too early to say these things. But, if you do go 7 points behind Liverpool and you do go more points behind City as well, it's a huge thing. And I think Arteta, I know what everyone have said, and even myself has said, the Arsenal fans start having that thought process of, do we look at someone else in that sense to take us over a certain line? And again, when you look on the market in terms of the managerial market, there isn't anyone really out there, I would say, that can take Arsenal to that next level. If we're being brutally honest, I don't think there is anyone out there that you could look at and go, yeah, Arsenal could 100% change Arteta and go in a different direction, similar to how Liverpool, for example, under Jurgen Klopp. When we first looked at it, I don't think any of us looked at it and went, you know what, you can't replace a world class manager for a world class manager. And again, Arteta, he's not a world class manager in that sense, but he's a very good coach in that sense as well, where he's took Arsenal up to a certain level, but quite clearly he can't take them above that level, if that makes sense, as well. But if Arne Slot can come in and do it in that sense, in terms of, again, inheriting such a good team, who knows, who Arsenal might have in that mind as well. Anyway, but let's get into your guys' comments anyway. Big up everyone as well for tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in as well. I do appreciate it. But evening at all, we're gonna outgun other gunners this weekend. Hopefully, Hero as well. Hope you're good as well, mate. Big up Legend Island as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. As well, because Arteta has won only one FA Cup in coming up to 5 years. Yeah, but that's the thing though. Like, for me, look, Arsenal fans especially have put a lot of pressure on Arteta. Like, everybody seems to think that Arteta is by miles the second best manager in the Premier League, and I go off of it like, based on what? Because he's not won anything. All right, he's won the FA Cup. He's won one Community Shield or two Community Shields, but that's about it. Like, and again, nobody really recognizes the Community Shield. So you do have that aspect of, what has he achieved? Oh, yes, of course he's achieved, Champions League qualification in that sense for Arsenal, but even in other seasons as well, certainly towards City and Liverpool, like both of us have been in the we've been in the title race, up until the last day. We've been in the FA Cups, we've been in the League Cups, we've been in, the last stages of the Champions League as well, or, even in our case last year, the Europa League. Like Arsenal haven't done that, and even last season, their whole focus at one point was the league title. Again, they were knocked out the FA Cup by us. They were out of the Champions League to Bayern Munich. I can't remember who they lost the League Cup to. I think that might have been Brighton, to be fair, but off memory. But all their focus was the league, and for them not then to get over that 90-point hurdle. Again, you have to be that. You have to get up to that level to win the Premier League. Liverpool, like, look at us. We managed to get 97 points and not win a Premier League title. That's unheard of. And Arsenal can never compete on those levels. Under Arteta, they can't. They've proved that already. But again, losing silly points again against Bournemouth, against Brighton as well. Points where they should have got, full points. That is, where they lose out on titles and lose out on, on silly things and that. Like for me, Bournemouth, they should have still won. Look, they had the red card. Yeah, you had the red card against Saliba, but Arsenal had the players to go on to win that game. They simply did, but that was a managerial problem, and that was a Mikel Arteta problem. And that, in that sense, of course, just purely down on him. But again, of course, his comments as well, saying on Sunday, we're going to be super ready for Liverpool, this, that, and the other. If they lose the game, it's going to get very toxic, I think, at Arsenal. Because we saw how quick he got toxic under Arsene Wenger as well. Anyway, chat as well. But again, let me know your comments as well, and your guys' thoughts in the comments. Of course, obviously they're going to be without, looking at it, quite briefly, in terms of the injury list for Arsenal. Of course, obviously no Saliba, because of course he's suspended, even though they did try and overturn it, but of course that isn't going to happen now, of course. But again, Timber 50-50. There's some reports saying that he has trained for Arsenal as well, so it looks like again he'll probably be available. Saka, same as well. Timber and Saka, I fully expect them both to be in the team for Sunday. I would be surprised if we didn't see Saka starting. If I'm being perfectly honest, I know that Mikel Arteta tried to play it down earlier when he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll have to see." In that sense, of course, it's just mind games. In that sense, we all know, Bukayo Saka, if he's a 60%, go ahead, look, they'll go on and play him, won't they? Realistically, anyway. But of course, no Kieran Tierney, no Martin Odegaard, and Ricardo Calaflori as well. Looks like he's out injured. Of course, obviously got injured midweek in the Champions League for them. Of course, on our end, and in terms of, moving on to speaking about Liverpool, of course, in Arne Slot's press conference, he did mention, of course, that, and it's 3-1 Forest, buddy, oh, good goal that was. Of course, he mentioned, of course, Diogo Jota is out for the game against Arsenal, which is a shame, realistically, because again, we know how good Jota has been against Arsenal. But he did confirm he was injured. I think he did also say that Harvey Elliott and Federico Chiesa look like they're going to be both in training as well, which is great news. Of course, obviously Harvey being out for such a long time, and Chiesa's injury that we didn't know too much about. Of course, it does look like now he is going to be fit and available for the weekend. So again, good news and bad news. Of course, obviously Jota, that's a massive blow in terms of him, being injured and being out. We've seen over the years, haven't we, how good Diogo Jota has been against Arsenal. Pretty much, that season, was it the 21-22 season, where he sat Ramsdale down about 50 times. That was pretty funny, to be fair, as well. But look, I think it's a very interesting dynamic as well, certainly towards Darwin Nunes. I think we've said it, haven't we, that he has to take his opportunities. And this is a great opportunity for him to now build up confidence in the team. He's now pretty much the out and out striker for Liverpool, obviously with Jota being out. So obviously, we've played Gakpo, on the left, we played Luis Diaz on the left as well. But it's now time for Darwin Nunes to potentially step up, and, for Arne Slot now to see, what he's, done over the last couple of weeks with Darwin Nunes. Because I have felt, I don't know about you guys in the chat, but for me, I feel like we've kept Darwin Nunes back a little bit under Slot in terms of, him trying to get his style of play, into Darwin Nunes. We've seen how well, Jota has reacted in terms of the style of play, but in terms of just purely down to Darwin Nunes, again, Chelsea game was, he was really, really good in terms of his defensive work rate and his work rate as a whole. Again, Leipzig got the goal as well, the poacher's goal. That is what you would like to see as well. I know a couple of people was like, oh, you should have left it. No, like if there's an opportunity for him to go on to score, I want Darwin Nunes to do that. Obviously, I know people go, oh, what happens if he's offside? Then that's a different story. Certainly towards Darwin Nunes. But I think, look, it is a big chance for him. And, when we talk about the start 11 prediction, it's a huge thing because he needs to be getting game time. He needs to be consistent now in his performances. And I think if he does that, he can go on to be Liverpool's main striker for the season. But of course, that all depends on whether or not, again, Slot does view Darwin Nunes as the main number 9 when Jota comes back or elsewhere as well anyway. But obviously get your starting 11 predictions in the comments as well, guys, and score predictions as well. Evening Doug as well, hope you're doing well, mate. As well as Evening Connor, hope you're doing well. But yeah, get your starting 11s in as well, of course, because I think it pretty much writes itself. Like, I don't know whether or not if you guys would agree. I think a lot of people obviously look at midweek pretty much best team possible. And we all know Arne Slot doesn't like to rotate so much, which again, he may have to learn that a bit differently, as well as we go into like December and January, of course, as well. But I think, if Liverpool can win, that would be a huge statement for the rest of the Premier League. Like we've seen, of course, Chelsea was a big test, wasn't it? In terms of facing a team, that's up there in terms of potentially qualifying for Europe and, the Champions League and Europa League. All right, we wasn't 100% all the time, but again, Liverpool got through that game and for me deserved the win. But this game is the big one, again, Arsenal away. We've said it all season long, haven't we? How can Liverpool act and how can we, how are we against the City away and Arsenal away? If Liverpool can go on to win this game, if we can, be 7 points clear of Arsenal, who knows if City somehow drop points, that would be huge as well. Like that, it's a huge step, in the right direction. And you would then start to ask the question of, can Liverpool go on to win something big this season? And look, why not? Look, we've all said that under Arne Slot, there was no pressure going into the season because we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how the players would react to the style of play. We didn't know how things would develop going into the season. And look, things may even change from now until, maybe December, January time. But what we have seen so far is, an evolution of what we were building on from last season under Jurgen Klopp. Again, it's completely different. It's completely different style. But it's an evolution type of, when we're talking about Liverpool 2.0, this is what, we were building to a lot more control on the ball. We are controlling the tempo of the games. We are the ones that are, setting the pace of the game. Like we're not playing, like, for example, we wasn't playing Leipzig's game at times. We were playing our own game where you look at, certain times throughout previous seasons where we'd want to control the game, but it would be 100 miles an hour. When we talk about, that control and that organization, it was, even Jurgen Klopp's own words, it was organized chaos. And it was, like we were going 100 million miles an hour. You see, certainly on the Leipzig game, how the wing backs, and of course, the eights, they are the controllers in the game. You saw Trent, linking with Gravenberch, linking with McAllister. Like, that's the connection to Liverpool's system. The whole system relies on the middle. It relies on Gravenberch, it relies on McAllister, but also, again, it what's the right word? It integrates then the fullbacks perfectly in terms of, again, Robbo, creating that overlap, Trent inverting, becoming that extra midfielder that you need. And again, it's a really, really good sign of things to come. And again, Liverpool are not playing at our best. We've still got another probably 2 or 3 levels to go under Arne Slot as well, which is really, really encouraging as well. But they're going Keller, Trent, Canate, Van Dijk, Robbo, Gravenberch, Maka, Jones, Diaz, Jones, Diaz, Nunes, and Saz. So no Szoboszlai for Doug. Yocon, pick up Ozan as well. Hope you're doing well, mate. I'm good, man. Just got Forest Leicester on at the moment. Yeah, I've got it on as well in the background. Forest absolutely battering them as well, which is a real shame as well, because I know a certain Anthony will not be happy the fact that Leicester again battered. But Con will no Jota hurt our depth this game? No, not really. I think, look, it'll be touch and go whether or not Chiesa will feature at all. I think I don't see Chiesa being a part of it. But again, you've got Cody Gakpo on the bench that you could bring on. Of course, it will hurt in some ways. I'm lying in that sense, but of course, I think if Liverpool can get 1-0 up within 15 minutes at Arsenal or 20 minutes at Arsenal, that would be huge. In the fact that, again, get ahead in these types of games, because something we have changed already this season where, again, we're not conceding huge amount of chances, and we're not, Liverpool are not conceding a stupid amount of chances. We're only conceding the 1 or maybe 2 big chances per 90. And you look at it so far this season, what have we conceded? Like 4 or 5 goals this season in all competitions. That goes down to the defensive structure. Again, like I seen a statistic earlier that Trent has a better tackle success rate and a better defensive. How on earth he missed that? A better defensive rate, in terms of percentage, than Gabriel and Calaflori. Now, supposedly, we're meant to, Wasserman that Trent can't defend. Like, I'm sorry, this season he's been brilliant defensively. Like, I think Arne Slot definitely in the 1v1 sessions has been, definitely getting into Trent, because, of course, he hasn't really been tested as of yet, because, again, we'll know in a couple of weeks when Liverpool play, Real Madrid, for example. He's going to be coming up against Vinny. He's going to be coming against Kylian Mbappe. Again, these players are, they're the true tests. And even in this game, he's going to be coming up against Martinelli, where, in the past he has struggled against. But it's also, like, again, this season, for me anyway, I think Trent's been brilliant defensively. And again, that is a problem at times, but I don't think it's as bad as what people make it out to be, neither. But that's my opinion anyway. But yeah, that's just my opinion. But Darwin Núñez has 2 more successful tackles than Declan Rice. Has 2. Oh no, he has 7 more than Declan Rice has 5. Yeah, I saw that stat. It was ridiculous. Again, I don't think Rice has had a good season. Neither. That's just me. Anyway, but going on to start 11 predictions, then that is my start 11. You can see on the screen right now next to me. So, gone Keller in goal, right back Trent, Canate, Van Dijk, Robbo, Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and Mohamed Salah. That is my team. I think, again, the only change from midweek is Robbo for Costas. Again, I think in a big game, again, you play your best, and that for me is Liverpool's best team as of now. I know some people may go, "Oh, Curtis Jones deserves to have the chance," and of course from last week, of course he does. But I think Curtis Jones, for me, in the 10, doesn't get ahead of Dominic Szoboszlai. I think Dom midweek had a decent-ish game. Again, this is the type of game where you need that midfield. Midfield that has legs, physicality as well is going to be huge. Certainly when they're going to be playing, Rice, Partey, Obviously, they're going to invert Havertz as well. Obviously, they may even shift to a three back as well, considering their injuries. And that, of course, it will be a four. But again, they might end up playing, what was it, Timber, White, and Gabriel as that three. You never know. With Arteta, he may change things. But I think for me, that is the best team to beat Arsenal. For me, I know even still, Cody Gakpo as well. Obviously, him playing midweek, that would be Lucho going in for him. I think, again, I would start Lucho for me personally as well. I think it's going to be a close game. Like I'm not going to sit here and go, oh yeah, Liverpool are going to absolutely batter Arsenal and we're going to go on to win 5-0 or something like that. That would be nice, but it's unrealistic. But yeah, no, for me, it's going to be a 2-1 game. I think Liverpool 2-1 for me. I think it will be close, but I do think Liverpool will sneak it anyway. I think Arne Slot will get his 12th win of the season for me anyway. But Ozan says Arsenal fans are making it appear as if they have an injury crisis. Yeah, like again, no, but like even last season for us, this all Arsenal fans were, going on about like, no, we don't really care. Like, oh, Liverpool, just making up excuses, this, that, and the other. I've seen them going on to, I've seen Arsenal fans, saying like, oh, you can't really judge us because we've got injuries and suspension and this, that, and the other. It's like, as Douglas said, but no, them losing Saliba for this match is huge, and it is huge. Again, they've lost their best defender. And of course, they've tried to appeal it. I think they got rejected this morning for their appeal, which, look, it was a stupid red card. The fact that they got lucky in the sense that, again, it's only the one game. It's, they're not going to be missing him, I think, for the next two as well. I think it's only going to be one because it wasn't violent conduct or anything like that. So, like, it was a stupid thing to do for Saliba. He could have recovered, he could have got there, and he chose the worst option. And look, Arsenal, I said at the start, if you guys want to go back, I said, and I highlighted it, in terms of the thing. I think Arteta's in trouble. That for me, he's in trouble because I don't think he's in trouble with the board. I don't think he's in trouble with, the higher ups of Arsenal. I think he's in trouble with the fans. I think we've seen how under Wenger, for example, how toxic it got when Arsenal were missing out on top four. And they were missing out on top four, but by a mile. And Arsenal's expectations over the last year, 2 years, well, 2 seasons, then let's say that, Arsenal's expectations now is we want to win the Premier League. We want it's no longer a rebuild. It's no longer us going for top four. It's very much the sense of we want to go and win the Premier League title. And I think if Liverpool went on this season, for example, if Arsenal, had a terrible season and Liverpool went on to win, go on to win the Premier League or be close to winning the Premier League, I think Arsenal fans would lose the plot in that. And I do believe that. I think Arsenal fans would go completely crazy. And I think they'd go mental on Arteta because they expect to be up there. And again, I think the level-headed people will understand, again, them having injuries and so on as well. And obviously, it's mad things can happen throughout a season. But like I said, we've seen how they reacted under Wenger. For me, I think they'd act even worse. The fact that they think they're going to go on to win a league titles and, we can go on and win Champions Leagues. No, like Arsenal are not ready, and that's just my opinion. I don't think Arsenal are that team to go on to get 90 points. I don't think that they're that team to go on to win the Champions League. I think there are teams better than them. I don't know if that's just me. If anyone let me know your guys' thoughts, and Doug as well, let me know. But for me, I think Arsenal, I think Liverpool, even we've had a new manager, can get up to that level. I also think City will remain at that level. But I think the Champions League, I don't think they're anywhere near it for me. Anyway, I watched them against Who did they play in the Champions League midweek? Shakhtar, was it? Yeah, it was Shakhtar. They were awful. To be fair, if Shakhtar actually had two or three decent players, I think they would have won that game. But again, that's just me. Anyway, but Doug saying I'd argue Gabriel has been better this season. I think many Arsenal fans would say that as well, Doug. To be fair, but Saliba had two stinkers in a row for France, and of course, the Bournemouth game as well. Yeah, he did. He really had his stinkers, didn't he? But we know ourselves 2 seasons. 2 seasons in a row we went v City, and in the third season there was always a drop off. Arsenal are expecting a drop off, I think, as well. Yeah, they are experiencing a drop off, and I think that comes through injuries. Again, look at the front three; they've played the same front three for the last 2-3 years. Again, Gabriel, sorry, Kai Havertz, Martinelli, Saka. Obviously, they've added Trossard to that as well, and so on. Like, again, I just don't think Arsenal. I don't think they have the players that can take them up to 90 points or above that. Because even now, if they lost this game, all right, I think some Arsenal fans have said, "Oh, we would only lose 2 games in 6 months." But in also saying that, they will be out of the title race, or be near enough out of the title race, in that sense as well, because it can happen so quick. Of course, you cannot. The thing is, you can't win anything now, but you can certainly be out of the race. And again, if they was to drop points anywhere else, I think they got Chelsea coming up as well, away from home. Like, they've got really tough games. Like, we've got tough games. We've got City coming up. We've got a tough away games and so on as well. Liverpool will drop points, of course we will, but it's definitely going to be that case of, if Liverpool win, that puts huge pressure on Arteta as well, to be fair. But I agree, Con. City are still the team to beat in both Champions League and Premier League. Yeah, they are. Like, I would say Champions League, I still think it's Madrid. I think Madrid's, if you beat Madrid, you win the Champions League. I think that's proof. We couldn't beat Madrid. We didn't win it. City beat Madrid. They won the Champions League finally. And then, look at it, City didn't beat them last year. Madrid went on to win it. I think Madrid is still the team to beat them in the Champions League for sure. And in the Premier League, it is sadly still City. But I hope that Liverpool can continue this form. And who knows? In April we might be saying that Liverpool are Premier League champions. That would be amazing if we could say that. Big up Cal as well. Hope you're doing well. But 5-hour travel Sunday con for me. Are you going to the game, Cal? Or hopefully, if you are, then I hope you do enjoy. I hope Liverpool win for you as well, going to the game as well. But Preston away, Newcastle away, Inter away, Chelsea away after Liverpool for Arsenal. Yeah, very tough games. And look, they could lose the majority of those. If we look at it now, I think they'll beat Preston. I think they'll lose to Newcastle, because I think Newcastle's the early game, isn't it? Inter away. Very, very tough game. Chelsea away, you could easily lose that as well. Like, it's last season they should have lost it. Fair play, they come back to draw that game, but of course that was under a different Chelsea. In that sense, looking at, I think it's it's really, really tough. A game for Liverpool, though. If Liverpool lost this game, Liverpool could start going down that road. Again, and that's not saying that we won't do that. Because of course, look, I think there's more pressure on Arsenal to win than there is Liverpool. But if we lose again, that then you then open that door to City, for example. They'll go on then to be top of the Premier League, and you've got teams like Chelsea, Villa, for example, as well, that can snatch the opportunity to even to overtake Liverpool. So we've got to be on it as well, 100%. But first time in 4 years, just got offered some, so I took them from my mate. He's going to. Oh, there we go. So happy for you, Caswell. But Ant's loving this game. Oh, he is indeed, isn't he? It was 3-1 now the score. Jesus, they've been. To be fair, I've only seen bits and pieces from obviously doing the show, but yeah, Forest have absolutely battered Leicester. And fair play to Forest, mind. Again, they beat us, they beat Leicester. They've had a really, really good start to the season. And to be fair, Chris Wood is banging in the goals at the minute, isn't he, for Forest as well? But yeah, for me anyway, if anyone's just tuning in, this is my start 11 prediction. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think it'd be close. I think Liverpool will get the job done, but it will be a very, very close game. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But yeah, hopefully, you guys have enjoyed tonight's show anyway. Again, happy to be back in that sense as well, doing shows and that. Con, do you think Wataru Endo will be sold in January? Yes, I do. I do think he will be sold. FPL fans, Chris Wood is on fire. He's replacing, 100% he is. Doug saying I'm going 2-1-2, 2-1-2, 2-1 Liverpool as well for Doug. Yeah, I think it'd be a close game. Again, if we can get 3 points away to Arsenal, I think it will be the first time we've done that since, I want to say I was going to say 2007. That was the last time we won away to the Emirates. In the league, by the way, not in all competitions, because obviously that was last season. I'm going to quickly check that. Doug, you'll probably know. When was the last time we beat Arsenal away from home in the league? Like, not talking. Oh no, in COVID we beat them. There we go. Looking at it now. Yeah, 3-0 for you guys. 3-0. Diogo Jota again 2, and was that Trent or Salah? Salah getting 1. So that was the last time we beat them at the Emirates. Anyway, so that's mad, But 2007, I thought it was something like 2007, but no, it was back in COVID. Yeah, we won in 2022. Yep, yeah, we did. But Arsenal, 0-2. Liverpool, and the winter ball is here. Is it really? Oh, there we go. Yeah, prime Barclays with the yellow ball. Yellow and purple ball will always be the best football to play with anyway. But we done them in 2022 as well, Firmino and Jota as well. Yes, no, we did as well. But look, I'm looking for a competitive game, and look, it'll be the match of the weekend for sure. And I'm hoping Liverpool will come on the other side of it, being the winners anyway. But we are going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you to everyone for tuning in. I do very much appreciate each and every single one of you for popping in as well. Obviously, liking, sharing, subscribing, all of that good stuff as well. Anyway, we'll try and do another show as well tomorrow. Talk a little bit, maybe a bit more about this game or something a bit different as well. We might do something like a Premier League, looking at everything as well. But look, hopefully we can, of course, be here on Sunday speaking about Liverpool getting all 3 points. Anyway, fingers crossed. Anyway, but I was thinking Man 4-3, for 2017, but no, wrong as well. I was thinking Man 4-3. I hope there is no VAR, but don't want to think about that. I was on anyway, but I agree with your lineup as well, says Cal, and cheers Con as well from Doug anyway. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good weekend as well, if nobody pops in as well. But yeah, hopefully everyone's a good weekend. Hopefully Liverpool can help with that anyway, fingers crossed. But yeah, until next time, that's going to be it from me. I've been Connor from the Cock Council. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.